that a lot of celebrities have been opening up about their OCD and just mental health in general recently, which has been amazing to see for so many different reasons. And I think an interesting byproduct of them opening up is that I've actually been able to learn more about my OCD in general, and just hearing it from a celebrity and the way that they speak about it has made me want to learn more about my OCD. I'm pretty an aware person, and I kind of already felt like I understood my OCD. But whenever these celebrities opened up in such an authentic way, I feel like I actually learned a lot about my OCD from them. So let's get into these three celebrities that have recently opened up about their OCD. And if you're interested in wanting to learn more about OCD, exposure response prevention therapy, and just want to learn more, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get the latest episodes on our YouTube from me and other team members. Okay, first celebrity that I'm really excited to talk about who recently opened up about his OCD is country music superstar Luke Combs. Now, he went on an interview recently. Check out our Instagram page if you want to watch the full interview of him talking about his OCD. It's really cool. He was super genuine about his OCD and the way that he expressed that it really is time consuming. He was like, the moment I get triggered, it is 24/7. I'm thinking about my intrusive thoughts and I'm thinking about my obsessions. Now, I don't think a lot of people can accurately describe OCD as well as he could in this interview, because a lot of people don't understand that truly OCD, when you're struggling with it, you don't get a day off. He has to go on a tour, he has to sing, and he's like, I'm struggling with OCD while I'm doing these things. It may not seem like it from the outside. I'm a celebrity selling out world tours, but I'm struggling with OCD and it's all in my brain, so you can't see it. And this was an interesting quote from him from the interview. It says, quote, "It's thoughts essentially that you don't want to have," he explained, "and then they cause you stress. And then you're stressed out, and then the stress causes you to have more of the thoughts, and then you don't understand why you're having them, and you're trying to get rid of them, but trying to get rid of them makes you have more." Yeah, and I think this speaks to, trying to get rid of thoughts is a very human experience. You don't like your thoughts, it's causing you a lot of anxiety, you try to push it away, and you don't realize that you're actually making your OCD stronger by pushing them away, because you're giving them a reaction. OCD thrives on reactions. If you don't give them a reaction, your brain realizes, oh, it's actually not a big deal. Maybe I don't need to be stressed out about this. And speaking of stress, I feel like I didn't even know that stress, maybe I did know, but I didn't put it together, that stress really can impact your mental health and OCD. I'm recently about to be moving, and I felt like an uptick of my OCD symptoms recently. And I was like, why is this happening now? But moving is stressful. And so whenever Luke Combs was like, when you're stressed about it, you're having more thoughts and you're trying to get rid of them more. He's going on a world tour. He's a superstar. Of course he's going to be stressed, but I think you can bring it down to just like the average person, where we still get stressed too. We may not be going on a world tour, but we may be moving or going through relationship struggles or whatever it is. So I think I was able to give myself more grace whenever I realized that, I'm going through a stressful time too. And that's probably why my OCD symptoms have been experiencing an uptick. He goes on to say, quote, "I think the craziness of this particular disorder is that the way to get out of it, it doesn't matter what the thoughts even are," he said. "You giving any credence to what the thoughts are is like irrelevant. It only fuels you having them. It's learning to go, it doesn't even matter what the thoughts are." I love this. I think he's really speaking about what exposure response prevention therapy teaches. It's not necessarily the content of the OCD thoughts. It's the fact that we cannot try to get rid of our thoughts. It's the anxiety that comes with the thoughts and us trying to get rid of them is simply what makes OCD grow. So I love this interview from Luke Combs. Feel free to check it out on our Instagram page at Treat My OCD. We made a video about it. Pretty cool. So shout out Luke Combs. And I'm definitely going to be listening to his album today. Need some country music. All right. Second celebrity that helped me understand my OCD more is Nikki Glaser. So she's a comedian who's really been on the come up the past few years. And she opened up about her mental health in general, which was pretty cool to see as a woman and as a comedian. So this is a quote from her. Quote, "I was scared of attention and disorganized and preoccupied with thoughts and had no coping mechanisms. So I think I was depressed, but it didn't really set in until I got an eating disorder, which stemmed from OCD and depression." I really like how she talked about her eating disorder because a lot of people may not know it, but could be struggling with food and eating symptoms because of their OCD. I've actually been there. I've had obsessions about food and body image. And, looking back, a lot of it had to do with my OCD. And once you get to the root of your OCD, a lot of times the other symptoms that you are experiencing can decrease whenever you get to the root of your OCD. And the third celebrity that's recently opened up about her OCD is Ariana Grande. You may know her from Wicked. You may know her from Nickelodeon growing up. You may know her from her music. She's a huge superstar at the moment and has been for a while. And she's also spoken up about her mental health, which has also been really cool to see. She's so well known and people love her, for good reason. And just bringing it down to, again, the average person, it feels amazing. I feel less alone whenever these people are talking about their OCD. So here's Ariana Grande talking about it. She said, she shared that she'd have to hear a song 3 times to make sure she'd been in the shower long enough, which is a compulsion that can come with the OCD subtype of contamination OCD. And then, quote, "It goes away when I'm creating or when I'm busy with work," she said. "When I'm in an off season or in between projects, I'm like, is that thing coming back?" Yeah, this made me think more about my OCD too, because I sometimes feel like I use distraction as a way to make sure my OCD can't get triggered. Because I feel like if I'm not busy, then OCD could just come back in, And so sometimes I would just make myself busy, But actually learning how to not try to get rid of triggers can be amazing for your mental health, because if we're focusing on, oh, I don't want to get triggered, so I'm going to get distracted, I'm going to do all these things. The more that we try to do that, the more we're giving OCD the power instead of us. So thank you, Ariana Grande. Can't wait to also listen to her music, and maybe I should watch Wicked again because she's fantastic. So hearing them talk about their OCD was amazing and just so beneficial for me in many different ways. So the first reason I feel like it was beneficial for me is that it showed that OCD, it doesn't take place in one form. All 3 of these individuals struggled with OCD in completely different ways. OCD is not one thing. OCD is not just about contamination OCD. OCD is not just about relationships. OCD, it could be those things, but it's not just that. So if you don't see your subtype or what you're struggling with online or from different people, realize that, OCD comes in so many different forms. And I remember I didn't see my theme online and I was like, there's no way this is OCD then. People aren't talking about it. Well, it doesn't really matter about that. It matters that, I'm experiencing these obsessions and I'm doing compulsions to try to get rid of it. The content of the thoughts don't matter as much. Second reason why I really loved them speaking out about their OCD is that it made me feel less alone. I loved hearing other people talk about it, and it just brought it down to a level that made me understand myself better. And then lastly, it made me realize that I can be successful and do whatever I want to do despite having a mental condition such as OCD. OCD has tried to stop me before. It's tried to stop me from the life I want to live and working and being with friends. And, it made me question if I could live the life I want to live and go after my dreams. But I realize now that with the help of these individuals that I can be successful. They can do it and I can do it as well. And so can you. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to get the latest episodes from our YouTube channel.